Welcome to I Feel Like.
Your ultimate guide to navigating life as a young adult.
We're your hosts,
Anna,
Dan,
and Evan.
And we're here to share our experiences and provide advice on everything from surviving college and forming relationships,
the situational etiquette, and maintaining a social life.
I feel like it's time to start the podcast.
Hi, welcome to this week's episode. Today we'll be talking about making and spending money as a young adult and or a college student. We can definitely relate to the struggle of wanting to have a good time, but being low on funds. So we want to share our advice and mistakes to help you make the most of an empty bank account.
I think money is just such a love-hate relationship, like no matter how young or old you are. I don't know, it's just one of those things where like it never feels like you're in a good place. I don't know, maybe I'm too young to really give a comment, but it just seems kind of like controversial, the topic of money.
No, I totally agree. I feel like I'm always like, oh, am I spending like too much money, or am I wasting my money by not spending it? I know that sounds stupid, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm never I never know what to do with my money.
And college is such a weird time because I guess you're out on your own and you have more freedom than when you're at home, but it's not like you're making a salary where you can do what you want and live where you want. You're very much dependent on mom and dad's bank account. So it's just a weird time.
And I'll say, like, before going to college, I definitely didn't spend as much money, like, in terms of I wasn't getting takeout, like, yeah, my parents were paying for that. I wasn't paying for that. And I definitely wasn't going out to eat and things like that as often. So yeah, it really did all change in college. Should we talk about like our experiences, I guess, first? Like, I know I should probably say that I, during the school year, don't have a job. And I don't know, that works for me.
Yeah, I guess, do we want to split this into spending money and then we'll kind of put it all out there for the spending aspect and then we can move on to the making part and I don't know, maybe categorize it.
Do we want to maybe start with making?
I was going to say that's the less fun area.
We'll get that over with.
Okay, well, like Evan said, he doesn't have a job during the school year typically. For me, during the school year, I usually have like a part-time job at school, and then if I just happen to have a co-op.
Do you really? I think you just had a part-time job for like the past 6 months.
Yeah, let's not exaggerate. Yeah,
you're not like working 20 hours every week on top of school. Let's calm it down a little.
If our listeners remember, we get 6 months off for our paid co-ops anyway. But when I'm not on that co-op, at least in this past time, I did have a part-time job.
Right. So for like the past 6 months.
Okay.
I guess we'll just move on with that. It's too early in the episode to get petty, but I don't typically have a part-time job on top of classes, although for this upcoming school cycle I was given a work study, so I think I'm gonna do it. I don't know how it works, and now that I think about it, I think I have to get back to them soon or else they're going to cancel it. But I don't know. I guess I'll be doing that. I'm honestly lost. Like, they told me to look somewhere. I don't know.
And I couldn't help you. I don't know. I wanted to say
also don't know
that we're definitely coming from different positions, and maybe you need to work a job to pay your bills in the time. But, I'm definitely lucky enough where I don't have to do that. And I definitely saved all my money as a kid. So I, and had my summer jobs. So I have enough to just not work during the school year. And I want to say that, like, I feel like for me, if I was having a job, I don't know if I could handle it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would be able to balance that work in school. And I know I didn't do that in high school. And I feel like I would have drowned then too. So, to each their own.
I don't know. I think I don't think I'd want to work on top of school, but I think, or at least I'd like to think if I had to, sure I could, but I think I just enjoy my lounging around time way too much. I don't know, maybe this is the wrong mindset. I'll like take on a little extra debt just to get to lay around and not have to report for a job and like let's be honest, at this age and situation, the jobs you're looking at are probably not fun, like retail, food. It's kind of like those crappy high school jobs. But we are really fortunate with our co-op system at school. The likelihood of getting a paid co-op or internship, that might be like a term that people are more familiar with. The chances of getting a paid one are pretty good. So we've been really fortunate that we've been able to work full time for 6 months and get paid for that. So we're probably in a more fortunate situation than more of a traditional college student.
It's definitely nice kind of having that to fall back on, because like while I worked and Anna might be working over these next 6 months and stuff like that, like it's definitely nice to know like, oh, like for the most part, we probably don't have to do that in order to kind of be able to have a good enough social life where you're like you don't mind spending money when you want to. But I think aside from that, it is kind of important to at least kind of tell people like, oh, like what are some options available, things like that.
And I'm sure your options depend based on where you're living. Like if your college is in the middle of nowhere, I don't know quite what options you would have. But if you're like in a city or, something like that, there's definitely more options in terms of like little things like restaurants and other part-time gigs that you can kind of tack on and get different shifts for.
I think regardless of where your school's located, I would say the first point to maybe look at is jobs that your school offers. I think a lot of times those positions do students with a work study have priority to get those positions, but there's so much stuff available. I doubt you'd run into a situation where there's absolutely nothing available at your school. But like Evan was saying, if you do live in a city or even like a college town, I'm sure there's some local stores, restaurants, something like that employ a lot of college students, and it's close by, so you don't have to spend a lot of money or a lot of time commuting somewhere far away. And something else that might be possible is tutoring. I don't know. I know at our school they have like some different tutor centers, and some of those are volunteer based, but some actually do pay. So if you're good at a certain subject or something like that, tutoring at your school or even privately or through an online service could be a really good option. I think they get paid probably more than like waiting tables. I don't know. I've never done either, but that's just what I've heard.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
either.
That's what I was gonna say was tutoring, because I know like the tutors at our school, they make $10 for one session. So I know like for like, I think our writing center session is like 30 minutes, but for like, I think math and stuff like that, it's more of like an hour. So like you can be making pretty good money by tutoring. And know a lot of the times you need like a teacher recommendation to get into it or things like that. Because a lot of the time it's like a professor kind of overlooks it all. But if you can get them, if you can become friendly with them, tutoring is definitely a good way to go about it.
And that's if you're going through the school though. But if you wanted to start your own way somehow, I'm sure you could do that and charge your own rate if you were, I don't know, good enough to do that.
Yeah, and another option is freelance work. I mean, I know that probably sounds kind of like scary and like a stupid idea, but I've seen it a lot on Facebook and a ton of other stuff. If you're good at something, I don't know, there's probably a lot of people out there who want your service or something. I know I don't know, I've heard like through the grapevine, there was this one girl in one of the sororities who was really good at doing like acrylic nails, and I think she was a lot cheaper than the salon. So it seemed like she had a fully booked schedule. So even, I don't know, just stuff that you wouldn't even think about. Maybe you're good at photography or like, I don't know, maybe you have like,
it.
well, maybe you have like a van and you can go pick up people's stuff that they want to get rid of. I mean, those people make a lot of money because a lot of times they charge a lot if you have like extra furniture to come pick it up. I mean, just get creative with it.
Mm-hmm. There's like an endless supply of possibilities of things you can do. It's just if you're kind of willing to put the work into creating your own, I don't want to say brand or business, but like something like that in order to make money.
And most of the time, freelance work pays way more than a job you're going to find somewhere else. And if it's freelance, I don't know, don't quote me on this. I'm not the IRS. I don't want anyone getting audited. But if it's under the table through cash, you probably don't have to pay taxes on that. But again, don't call me if the IRS comes knocking.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth noting that that's for everything we say.
But I am taking an accounting class this upcoming quarter, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to you on the legality of that.
I was gonna say, I don't know if this is good advice, but I feel like I always get emails from our school like, oh, there's this contest, there's this contest. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I should do those. I feel like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Are other people doing them? Maybe it's like an easy thing to get.
I don't know. I don't do them, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people don't do them. So maybe we have a better shot at winning.
I mean,
am I just not getting these emails?
Well, maybe your major doesn't have them, but I know for computer science, we're always like, oh, redesign this.
I think they're school specific.
So it's not going to be a steady income, but it's an option if you want to make, some prize money. It's definitely a thing people do.
Yeah. Some of the prizes are like a couple $1,000s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that you could probably stretch a little. Another way to make money that I wanted to bring up that's maybe not like a steady income source or something that you're gonna have a set schedule for, but something I've done is selling extra clothes on Poshmark and stuff. Again, it's not really like a full-time job and it's very hit or miss, but I've probably made a couple $100 just selling stuff I don't need. So I would definitely check that out. Same thing with like selling on eBay, Craigslist, just junk you don't want.
Do you think people actually make a business out of that? Like they'll go to a thrift shop and like buy it low and like sell it high? Like, I don't know. Maybe you can figure that out. I don't know.
I mean, I have this one friend in college who literally she's making tons of money off of Poshmark every month. She makes like thousands of dollars just by kind of getting stuff, like you were saying, like getting stuff at thrift shops, then kind of revamping it, making it look nice, posing it on like a mannequin and everything, and then selling it for pretty high prices. So like, I think it's like with everything, but like if you're good at it, you can make a lot of money with it.
I'm sure there's all kinds of different little things like that where you could, start collecting this toy and sell it really high on eBay when the price goes up or something like that. I don't even know. But there's other things like Uber, I'm sure you could do, and what are the food deliveries? One
like
of those.
Uber Eats and
or that.
DoorDash.
Yeah, if you have a car.
I always hear bad things about those, and I don't know how. I couldn't speak to that, but it's definitely an option. It seems like a lot of people do it, so it must be doable.
Going along with that, you could also kind of do other delivery services where it's kind of like do it on your own time. Like there are things like Instacart where like you buy like groceries for like other people, things like that. So all of those are also options.
I've never done any of those, but I have heard good things. I've heard that the pay is pretty decent, and I do like the idea of doing it when you want as opposed to having to report somewhere, especially as a college student. I think having that sort of flexibility would be really nice and would make me more inclined to get a job than having someone make up a schedule for me and yell at me if I'm not there.
It's definitely tough though, just because you're probably responsible for your car, keeping that, and then you always hear stories about terrible customers and things like that,
or even like sketchy situations.
So it's at your own risk for sure.
I'm sure, just like anything, there's pros and cons, but I guess it's an option. Now that we've kind of talked about sources of income, if you will, I think another important thing to maybe touch on while we're on the making money side is budgeting. I hate to say budgeting just because I feel like that might turn people away because it kind of seems daunting and unrealistic, but I think it is important to keep track of your cash flow and have an idea of what kind of money you're making, how you're spending it. Just because I know my freshman year of college, I didn't work. I don't even know how I had the money that I spent. I think maybe I had it from high school jobs, or I honestly don't even know, but I wouldn't even look at my account. I would just spend money, and I don't know. I guess in the short term, it's nice to not know, but who knows how much I spent. And I think that's kind of like a dangerous path to go down.
I think maybe in college it's hit or miss depending on what you're paying for. Like if you're in a dorm, I like if you're paying your rent, that's one thing. But if you're like in your own apartment and you have to pay for like Wi-Fi and water and electric, like it's nice to keep track of how much that's costing you and what you're actually spending each month, so that you kind of know like what you have to make and things like that, and really budgeting it out and keeping it clear for yourself, because those bills can sneak up on you for sure, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize I had to pay $80.
Yeah, like it's definitely a pain, especially in the beginning, kind of like keeping track of it, having to like go through all the math and being like, okay, if I have to pay X, Y, and Z, I have to save this much. But it's definitely helpful in the long run in terms of like A, making sure that you don't overspend, but then B, also making sure that you have enough to kind of, if you want to, do some fun things, like make some purchases that aren't just paying for bills, paying rent, things like that.
And there's a lot of ways to go about this. I guess it's your preference how strict or loose you want to be with it, but something I've started doing probably over the past 6 months, and this might be a little excessive, but I have an Excel sheet with like, here's all the money I'm getting for the month. This, and then I have a separate section for this is what I want to save, and these are my flexible fun expenses. So every time I buy something, I write it down in this Excel sheet, note down the price, and then there's formulas thanks to Excel magic that will report back to me, you're saving 50%, or you've spent 15% of your income, if you want to call it, on like shopping, just so I have those numbers to track my spending and I guess see patterns and where my money is going, which, like I said, might be excessive for some people, but I really like it.
But Excel makes it magic.
Well, actually, I think there's even easier ways to do it. I know there's a ton of apps. Like I think Mint is one of them. You can just plug in your bank information and it automates that. It's like an app and you can pull up a report. I mean, I've
things about
never
that.
used
I
it.
don't know if I would recommend.
I don't think it's sketchy. I think it's owned by, like, it's owned by some bank or something, and I've heard it talked about by a lot of financial gurus on the internet. That's probably even more sketchy.
I don't listen to financial gurus.
I'm pretty sure it's encrypted or something, and I don't know. I don't know anything about cybersecurity.
I mean, I'm sure that can be helpful, and I'm sure that can, add some pretty layers to, oh, you're 20% of your goal to make money for this fun thing. But it's like, I would caution you, this maybe stay away from that. I don't know. I'd be a little worried about those. I'd keep it simple for yourself. Do an Excel like Anna said. It's so easy. You can just write Pico, this is how much you spent. You don't need to make it all that complicated.
Well, actually, I think the apps make it less complicated because you don't have to do any typing in. It will basically go through your bank statements and do all the math for you. So you don't really have to put in any effort. The app tracks it in the background. I mean, that might be concerning for some people. Again, I don't know much about cybersecurity. I can't speak to how safe this is, and I can't guarantee you're not going to get identity thefted. But it's just an option that I know of.
I feel like if you're like, let's say you're a super smart CS major like Evan, then you can make an Excel sheet with all the formulas. But if you're
no.
You don't have to be a CS major to use Excel.
Thank you. I'm tired of the CS stuff you keep throwing on me, but I'm not worried about the security of it. I'm just saying, I think when you let a lot of automated things like that happen, you're going to lose track of how much you're spending. And I would worry that, it's automatically updating. You're maybe not really thinking about how much you're spending. It's just still coming out of your bank account. And are you really checking this app? Like, you're not manually doing anything. So I'd be worried that you're losing focus on actually saving or how much you're spending.
Okay, now I get what you're saying. That does make sense, and that is a good point. If you're not actually going to use the app or pay attention to it really and check it on a regular basis, then it might make you feel good, but not actually give you a lot of benefit.
And are you really going to use all those features and like say, oh, I'm saving this much money for this? And I would just question if you're actually really going to use it to its full potential.
It definitely depends on everyone's goals and what they feel like doing, but
Hey,
I know those apps are kind of popular.
and this would be a
but
great
hey,
opportunity to learn some Excel. You can put it on your resume. There you go.
Okay, just a quick aside. Just because you know how to use like the average and
Oh, well, yeah,
the
sure,
division
yeah.
and the sum formula does not mean
That's
you're
not
Excel
enough, yeah.
proficient. And that's not a call out for anyone. I thought I was Excel proficient until I got to college and the real world, and they're using like pivot tables and like VLOOKUP. I still don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I got called out for
Um,
not knowing how to use Excel after it was on my resume.
Ooh.
I do a
Yeah,
VLOOKUP and I'm
so
like, what is this?
I don't know what that is either. So we've talked a lot about making money and I guess spending it wisely and budgeting, but that doesn't mean that you still can't have fun and enjoy things, treat yourself once in a while. So definitely do whatever you can that fits those categories. I think it'll help make it feel like you're getting some enjoyment instead of just constantly saving or spending it in boring ways like bills. Even if it's just like buying yourself a coffee and a pastry from your favorite place once a week or once every 2 weeks, just a little something to treat yourself and reward yourself for your hard work and all of your earned money. And plus, that helps prevent you from like binge spending if you restrict so much and then you kind of just hit a breaking point where you spiral and way overspend.
No, I think that's a great point. It's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like, on one hand, it's like, yeah, I think little pick-me-ups like that really definitely do go a long way. And when it's on a regular basis, it is way easier to track. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't know, do you need to add another regular expense to your budget that is really gonna chip away, I feel like. But if it's something little, like I don't know, I guess that works.
I think at that point you just have to think, oh, do I want more short-term gratification or long-term gratification? Like I know for me, I enjoy kind of like yes, once in a while I'll do long-term gratification, but I also enjoy like getting like a little like takeout once a week or like getting like a little like I don't want to say toy, but like something like that every once in a while.
That is totally up to you. Everyone's going to have a different opinion, and we're certainly not shaming or judging anyone who buys a Starbucks drink every day. I know there's this myth that's been going around that the reason you can't afford a house or the reason you're broke is because you buy Starbucks every day, which
That's
is not
insane.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. But I guess, yeah, just do whatever fits your lifestyle, and it might take a while to kind of figure out what works for you and what doesn't work and what expenses fit and which ones don't. But I guess that's why it's good to develop these habits while you're young so that when you are older and have more money to mess around with, you're hopefully a little more experienced
Yeah.
in this kind of stuff.
We're in a very low risk age group, I think,
Yeah,
because
sure.
for the most part, 20-year-olds don't have like millions of dollars. So this is a good
Well,
time to
do
kind of figure
adults
out.
have millions of dollars?
Even hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Is that
people
what my adulthood's gonna look like?
I hope that this podcast helps us get there.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
though, I think that because like we're in our 20s, like this is a really good time to experiment with all aspects of your life, including spending your money. I think this is a good time to kind of see like how you want to spend it, how often, if you want to save, and it's really just a good way to kind of see what you like as a person.
I wanted to talk about what I do because I don't really do the regular spending. I definitely do the more big ticket item at at so much time. And I think
A
that
$300 Lego every quarter?
Hey, not
Called
every
him out.
quarter.
That wasn't an attack. It was just stating a fact.
Okay, well, I'll admit that I'm currently looking at, yes, an expensive Lego, but is that something I do often? No, not at all. But I think that's something that I get a little more enjoyment out of because, I'm not really into like, $6 drinks or takeout.
You did like Kung Fu tea.
Okay, it's fun, but would I get that regularly? Like, nah, I'm not here for that. I'd much rather buy myself like a fun, expensive thing at the end of a term than food. Like, that's just me though.
I guess moral of the story is you're probably going to make money mistakes at some point. So, hey, it happens to everyone. I guess it's better to make them earlier on when you don't have a whole lot to lose. I think compared to high school me or even earlier college me, I think I have gotten a little bit better at spending money a little bit better. I think I'm not as impulse purchasey as I used to be. I've definitely kind of scaled back on like clothes and just stuff that I really don't need.
I feel like for me, since high school, I don't want to say that I've really changed at all. I think I've just kind of enhanced what I was in high school in terms of my spending habits. Because in high school, I was making less money than I'm making now. But I think even back in high school, I was still like making these like short-term purchases that kind of made me happy in the moment, like getting takeout or getting like a Dunkin' Donuts like drink or something. And I think now it's like the same, but it's just elevated where it's like, oh, instead of just a drink, I'm getting a whole takeout meal once a week or things like that. So probably not the best advice, but that's just me.
I mean, I guess I've gotten worse since childhood just because I know, like, I definitely wasn't going out to eat with my friends all the time. And I think everything kind of changed when I got, in a relationship and like then we were going out to eat and we were like getting gifts and things like that. And that definitely changed.
I know
That,
relationships are so
that was definitely
expensive.
the first time I opened up the bank. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't really buying things for myself. I was waiting till Christmas or whatever. Like that's how it worked. But yeah, and then once you're in college and you're in a dorm and it's like 12 o'clock at night and everyone's like, oh yeah, let's get food, you're not going to be the one to say no. Like you're going to be there. So things like that definitely opened up my bank, and I've definitely gotten worse at um it, I'm impulse buying more, I think, just because of my surroundings. But that's just something you're going to have to get under control.
I think you're still pretty good though at it.
I
Because
think
I know
okay,
like
yeah. I think last year and the year before were definitely a little tougher, but this year with the pandemic, I think I have definitely been like, yeah.
yeah, the pandemic I think did kind of limit everyone's spending for the past year, I would say, which is probably a good thing for the most part.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff online where people have gone really crazy with the retail therapy and have just gotten so many packages delivered to their house. But I don't know, maybe that phase is over and I'm sure that was not everyone. But I don't know. I think I've been pretty good um with not buying as much since the pandemic.
I think another thing that we could touch on is like you don't have to do like physical things. Like maybe you want to save up for a fun vacation or things like that. That's always a fun way to spend money, I think. And I couldn't really give you tips on planning a vacation, but yeah, no, that's definitely something that you could spend your money on.
Honestly, that could be a whole nother episode, and I'm putting it out there now that we should definitely do that. But honestly, like save your money for like something fun like that. Like you could do like road trips with your friends for like really cheap. You can get some pretty cheap plane tickets if you go at the right times and like to the right places. So definitely like consider that. Like don't just think, oh, vacations are like thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Well, Dan mentioned getting deals, and I think that's definitely something that you should take advantage of. Like, I'm a sucker for a good deal. Like when the Steam deal happens, like, I'm a sucker. I can't help but buy as much as I can during that one period of time and then not spend when things are full price. Like that's definitely, I think, the company's still making money, I'm sure, and I'm sure there's reasoning behind it, and I'm sure they're still profiting somehow, but I don't know
They
if this
they wouldn't
but
run a sale if they were
yeah,
losing money.
but
Honestly, I think sales make you feel like you're the winner, but really the corporation's always the winner. They're
but I
just good
just
at
don't
tricking you
understand.
into
I'm
thinking it.
spending less money, so like, I mean, I guess it's
Yeah, but I
fine.
guess I guess they're winning because sure, maybe they're only making 50% of what they would have, but you're buying it when you otherwise would not have. So I guess they'd rather take 50% than
Well,
0%.
okay, well, I guess you gotta be aware then, because I think I would like to believe that I'm buying this game regardless, and I'm able to restrain myself and wait for the deal. And maybe I'm just a sucker, but it feels like I am getting, more bang for my buck by
Not to
like.
call out Steam, but it seems like they have a deal like every month.
uh,
Like we just got off like the Chinese New Year deal.
There's definitely some dry periods, and the individual things can always have individual sales, but I think the big sales are definitely something to wait for.
I saw this quote. I don't know if it's really a quote, but on TikTok or something. And the person was like, it's not a sale or a good deal unless you were already planning on buying it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But we're not here to shame anyone for sales. I'm a sucker for a deal too. Like any percentage off gets my attention. So don't feel bad about it. It's everyone. That's why they run sales, because it gets people.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to add that while you're a student, that's the best time for discounts. I can name like Amazon Prime, Hulu, Spotify. They all give student discounts and they're like half price what they normally would be. So definitely take advantage of those, because they can save a lot of money over the course of a year, or even compound that by the 4 years you're in school. It's definitely a really good deal.
I want to say though that for deals, we're saying to take advantage of them, but just be aware of like what actually is and isn't a deal. Like if it says 2 for 1 and now the jeans are like $60, but they're normally 30 anyway, then you're not saving any money. You know what I mean? Like you're still spending $60 for 2 jeans. So still just like break it down and know like, oh, I'm actually saving money or I'm not saving money here. Like they mark stuff up all the time. So just be careful.
Do we want to talk about some fun things to do or ways to still have a good time without breaking the bank? I don't know if we're the best people to comment on this, just because I don't know, our weekends and Friday nights consisted of sitting in a room on the floor playing the same Mario Party game.
Yeah, and we definitely spend our money on very different things.
Well, I think something that we spent a lot of money on freshman year, and probably a lot of other people, was eating out and takeout. Even though it's not anything super glamorous, I mean, it adds up. And even like our beloved mozzarella sticks were probably $8 or $9 each time.
And we got them because that place had a deal. The deal got us.
Was that really a deal?
Yes,
I don't really think it was.
Yes,
12 mozzarella sticks for like $8. That's a deal.
Well, it wasn't like a special. That was just how that restaurant worked. True. But in comparison to other restaurants, it seemed like a deal.
But it was a deal because it was $5 for 6, but then it was only $3 extra to get.
But that's how
more.
all places work.
I know.
That's why all places are still in business and why we're the suckers.
This is just marketing tactics to make people spend more money.
Yeah, I'm not a marketing.
He's a computer science major.
But I was gonna say, we've talked about this before, like how to save some money, and for us, like I would always go pick up the food, and we definitely saved money on delivery fees and things like that.
We would send Evan out in the middle of the night by himself.
Well, I enjoyed it. That was just
in Evan's defense, he wanted to.
Yeah, no, I liked it, and I didn't want to send those delivery fees. That was insane, and I didn't care if I had to go pick it up. It was right down the street for us, so.
So get a friend who's willing to go pick up the food.
And willing to risk their lives in the dark at any hour of the night or morning.
In maybe not the safest area.
We were fine. I was fine.
We get reports of robberies and shootings.
Anna and I wouldn't know. We didn't pick up the food.
I don't think I ever was too nervous, but hey, whatever. But yeah, and
that's exactly when they get you, when you're not nervous. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to like fearmonger about like street crime.
No, but Anna's right. There's definitely different ways to have fun when broke. Like there are so many different free games out there that I know we did, so definitely look up those.
Oh my gosh, we sound like such losers. Free games.
No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing free, or if like, I know we didn't do this, but like our dorm had like cable, like we could have used that if we really wanted to, but
again, so exciting. Cable on a Friday night.
I'm just saying.
Also though, like just like more, I guess, not like staying in the dorm things, like on the weekend sometimes it was nice that like we would go like explore like our campus, explore like the surrounding areas, things like that. And there's like a lot of free stuff to do there. There's like parks, things like that. I don't know, it was fun exploring.
Yeah. And I mean, we were in our schools in the city, so that might give some more opportunities and things in more rural areas or college towns, but a lot of the museums have free entry on the first Sunday of the month or something like that. There's a lot of free parks or even just, I guess, like pop-up events in town.
And I don't want to get too specific, but there's definitely like ways you can also get out of the city, like hop on a train, go up to a different city, or do that. Like, if you're in a city, you're definitely pretty connected to everything. So you can definitely find your way to some other new cool place outside of your city that's pretty easy to get to.
Also, this is very city specific, but a lot of the times your school will have kind of fare that will like pay for you to take these trains, the subway, things like that. I'm not sure if our school does now. I'm thinking about it,
they
but
didn't.
I know that other schools in our city do that though. So like definitely like take those up. Like if your school's offering like free subway fare or anything like that, so you can go explore.
I think you bring up a great thing about the school. Like we're talking about college spending, and I'm sure your school has tons of deals. I remember during like our welcome week going to a thing about you log onto this website and there's all these ticket deals and all these deals. And I never use it because I've completely forgotten about it until this moment. But schools definitely offer free like events or discounted tickets to things or fun little things you can go to.
Going back to the food, because I think that's something we're all very passionate about and could talk about for a while. Another thing that I remembered is some places might even have certain times or days where they have discounted food. There was this one place that I don't even know how to describe it. I guess they served like, I don't know, was it a bar? I have no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I think it was a bar.
I don't know. It had like breakfast. It was like a multi-purpose restaurant.
Yeah.
But I think it was every Sunday from a certain time period, you would get 50% off brunch with a valid school ID from our school and a couple other schools in the area. So that's a good way to get out and have some fun and save a little bit of money. Who doesn't love that?
I also wanted to say, just kind of going back to things that the school offers, a lot of schools have like campus or I think it's campus activity boards. Is that what it stands for? Anyway, like things like that. And they set up activities where it's normally like fun events, but they're at like significantly discounted prices. Like we all went ice skating for like what, $5, and like we got like hot chocolate too. They do think like I think Anna and Evan went to like a glass blowing
that was
event.
Expensive. That was $30. That was really expensive. But they do have a lot of discounted tickets for as little as like pay $5 to get entrance into this event in the city that otherwise probably would have been 20 or 30.
They also usually have a lot of free food events. So if you want the thrill of getting like takeout and not going to like the dining hall or things like that, but you don't want to pay for it, like take up those free food events. Like Anna and I went to like a Chinese New Year one.
Just a warning, don't get your expectations too high. We thought we were coming into like a Chinese buffet when in actuality, we kind of just got the scraps. I mean, hey, I'm still grateful for free food, but I just thought maybe I would have gotten fed a little more than we did.
Also, getting into the story a little bit, it was our own fault for being in the back of the line.
Be prepared to like stampede everyone to be the first in line, because that's when they give out the generous portions.
Yeah, but definitely take advantage of all those kind of opportunities that your school offers. There's a ton of things probably that your school's giving you, deals, events, things like that. So definitely take them up if you want to have fun, but maybe don't want to spend a lot of money.
Maybe we're just like losers, but but we still had fun with like Evan brought in his ancient Wii or something, and we just had so much fun with that. Honestly, I feel like some of our best memories were when we were staying in and not even spending money. Like, you don't need to go out and blow a ton of money and do something crazy to have a fun time, or at least we don't, but maybe that's just because we're a little lame.
Yeah, I don't want to talk more about games, but I just feel like I'm sure everyone has their own catalog, and it's just when you have a group of people and if you have a group game, it can be a great way to just bond. You're not spending money. You can probably play it so many times and never get bored of it just because you're laughing about it with your friends. It's just kind of the jokes keep it going, I guess. But another thing is like I'm sure like maybe one person has a subscription to like Netflix or something like that. That can be a thing. You can all watch a show together. We're talking about
our shows did keep us busy for a while.
Or some movie, like, you don't have to do that by yourself. Get a group of people. That can be fun. That's a good way to not spend as much money. You can just drag out. There's so much content on Netflix. I'm sure you can find something.
And honestly, at this point, Netflix has raised its prices every single year. They're not even cheap anymore, so get your money's worth.
Do we want to get into rapid fire hot takes?
Evan does love the rapid fire.
I do. It's fun.
Well, someone start us off because I have to think of something.
I have one. I can start. So back to making money. If you want to make money, but you're not a creative person, you have nothing that you think you could do freelance that's like unique or original, definitely check to see if your school offers like jobs other than like work study, because a lot of jobs like working in the library or working for like just like a random department, a lot of them are pretty like chill. You can usually just do your homework and get paid during those times. So I definitely recommend that if like you don't want to do freelance work.
Can you find things on LinkedIn? Because I was on my LinkedIn today and I saw people posting about like, oh, I did this job. Just, quick thing. Is that like a place where you could find things like that?
I mean, I've
probably not.
It's
probably more
near
job, but
internships. But I don't know. Maybe.
Who knows?
Okay, I don't know how on topic this is, but it kind of relates to money. And I'm a little bit of a personal finance enthusiast, but college is a good time to get a credit card. I know this is probably super hit or miss depending on the type of person, because you can get yourself into a lot of credit card debt. But if you use it responsibly, you can start to build your credit to put you in a better position later on. And a lot of credit cards have cash back or points rewards. So you're basically getting money back for money that you otherwise would have been spending already. So that's my hot take.
I didn't realize like how much cashback works. I literally just got a credit card like last week. And like when I was like buying things, I'm like, oh wait, why did I get money back? This is nice. And like, I don't know, definitely take advantage of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in the short term, it's only going to seem like, wow, I got a 25 cents back on this purchase. But over the course of a year, depending on how much money you spend, that could add up. And sometimes these credit cards even offer as much as 5% back on certain categories, or other credit cards do more of a point system, and some even go up to like 5 times points on like grocery purchases or something like that.
I don't have cash back. I should get that. I should look into that. Anyway, I was gonna say that I've always been a proponent for credit cards over debit cards, and that's just kind of something with spending money, I guess, where I think they can be a little dangerous if you have multiple accounts and like the one debit card's linked to an account where you only put so much money. I think that's fine, but I would just say a credit card is definitely safer. And what Anna was talking about, getting your credit score up, I think that's definitely great advice that you should be doing during your college experience. And like, I think maybe there was this, like back in the day when credit cards were new, people were going crazy with them, but I don't know who's like really going wild with their credit cards anymore.
Credit card debt is a huge problem.
Okay, well,
that's
be careful.
Why companies like American Express make like $20 billion in profit a year because of accrued interest, and credit card interest rates are like the average like 19%, which is insane compared to like student loans, which is like 7%.
Then what I'll say is if you pay it off, if as long as you don't wait, you're only paying off what you spent. You won't be paying off all this interest. So pay it off on time and don't take out more than one credit card.
Yeah, I mean, that is how it works, I guess, but it's a lot easier said than done.
Sure.
It's very easy to kind of spiral into living above your means.
Sure.
And getting in a sticky situation.
Well, then you should follow our advice about a budget sheet or whatever.
Can we do a personal finance episode or like a credit card episode?
I'm
so excited.
Well, I was gonna also say that, like, maybe you're not making a ton of money right now, but whatever you can put away for long term, I'm sure would be good to also do.
Right. Yeah. I opened up an IRA this past year, and I'm just putting like $20-$30 away a month. That in the short term really is not anything that I'm gonna miss necessarily, and it's I think the more important thing than the dollar amount is just building that habit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that when you are in a position where you're making more money, you're not used to like spending it all and not paying yourself.
And then also kind of looking kind of with that, but like once, if you're like maybe in your later 20s after college and like you're starting to get a job, make sure you get like a good 401k plan where like the company's matching a good amount. Very off topic for what we talked about, but like, yeah, think about long-term too.
Well, let's bring it back to the college level.
I was going to say that you never know what kind of expense is going to come up. Like, I doubt
emergency fund?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you're probably not like a homeowner and are gonna have to deal with like re-roofing after some storm or something like that. But again, like maybe you own a car and like maybe something happens and you need some money for it, or else you can't get to your job. Like, you should definitely be planning for things and like that to happen.
I don't know if this is a hot take or like a heartfelt piece of advice, but don't feel bad when you get to college or you kind of move out and have a little bit more financial freedom. Don't feel bad if you make mistakes, or don't feel bad if you overspend. It happens to all of us. And it's definitely, once you start to make a little bit of money and you're away from home, it's really tempting to, I mean, it's a new experience. So it's really tempting to spend it and have fun. So there's no shame in that. We've all been there. It's a learning experience.
Yeah. And if you're in college,
no judgment here.
Yeah, like just have fun with it, I guess. Like learn, of course, but yeah, this is you should be messing around and experiencing.
This is kind of the age where if you make a mistake, people almost
you can recover.
Expect it of you. Yeah. And as you get older, I think people's tolerance for stupid mistakes, if you will, gets a lot lower.
Yeah, absolutely.
So make the mistakes now, get them out of your system.
Well, don't get into credit card debt.
Don't
get into credit card debt. Yeah.
Don't be reckless.
Pay it off as soon as you can.
Yeah. And there's like online banking. So it should be really easy to pay it off. You don't have to go to the actual bank and move money or anything like that. Like log on once a month. It's the easiest thing.
Automated payments.
You can do automated
or
payments.
That too, yeah. Uh-huh.
But also, we know that not everyone has this privilege.
Yes,
we don't want to sound like super preachy. Oh, just pay off your credit card, because we know not everyone's in that position, and it's a tough world out there. The economy sucks. We're in a recession and a pandemic, so don't be too hard on yourself.
So hopefully, I think there was something to take away from all that nonsense that we just talked about. Hopefully we covered pretty easily, some easy ways to make some money and some fun ways to spend it. And hopefully in the future, when, if you're not in college yet or you're in college now, hopefully this can help you with your money management. Thank you for listening to this week's episode.
Be sure to like and follow our podcast on whatever platform you're currently listening to it on.
Check out our social media, linked in the description, and tune in next week for even more advice.
TTYL
from IFL.
Bye.